Hello and welcome to my channel. That's the first video I'm doing in English for you all, and hope this is of use. I just want to keep you posted with what's happening in Cuba now. You may know that there is a major tornado coming, Oscar, who's going to affect the life on the island. But before we spoke about that, we have to realize that for the last 54 hours, we had no electricity all over Cuba. It's been a shortage of electrical power due to the fact that the country cannot purchase enough gasoline with foreign currencies that they don't have, so they cannot produce enough electricity for the people of Cuba. And obviously, this is not a great thing, even though most Cubans are quite customized to not having electricity, because it has been something very regular, which is happening every day. There are cuts of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours in a row almost every day. So people have to manage to learn how to live without electricity. But the last 54 hours, there has been absolutely no electricity, and this will probably last longer until tomorrow, and possibly even further due to that major storm, Oscar, which is coming and is going to hit Guantanamo, which is just north of where I am now, Santiago de Cuba. It's just like, not even an hour away from where I am. So I don't know what's going to be like, but, this is obviously going to be a hell of an experience. It's going to be full of energy, full of water for sure, but, I'm laughing about it, but it's actually very tough for the people because, obviously the economical situation has been daring for years, and the situation has been worse and worse as, they have less tourism, which is the prime source of foreign income. And in Cuba, if you don't have dollars or euros, you can't really much do anything because the inflations and everything is so expensive, and the country is so dependent upon currencies in order to purchase anything outside of the country. It's not able to produce enough food in order to sustain its own people. So without foreign currency, you can do shit in Cuba at the moment. So this is why those who do have private enterprise and who are in contact with foreign tourists like me get a better way of life, because they are able to gather, enough currency in order to be able to have the power and the purchase parity they need in order to get what they need. But in Cuba, you don't always find what you need. And right now, the value that is most missing is power, is energy, and without that you can do nothing. So without electricity and a shortage of it every single day, there is nothing that can run. I mean, I would say 80-90% of all the shops are closed. The ones that keep open are like mini shops who are selling coffee, cigarettes, or possible drinks, but nothing can be cold because there is no refrigerator working, no congelator who can do anything about it. And so it's very, very minimum way of living. No one is going to work because nothing is open, so no one is earning a proper salary. And when the level of income that the people have, and just to give you an example, this morning I went to purchase a pack of coffee for my neighbor who's been offering me coffee for the last 2 days in the morning. And she's a woman with cancer, and she only has a small pension of 1,500 pesos, which is her monthly income. But just to give you an idea, that bag of coffee that I purchased, 500 grams, cost 1,900. So that's more than a month of salary for a bag of coffee. And if you want a bag, 30 eggs, a bag of eggs, the price is 4,500 pesos, and she gets 1,500. So 3 months of salary for 30 eggs. And to give you 1 kilogram or of rice, for example, this cost local rice, which is not that great. It cost about $1.50. And so for her to get 3 kilos of rice per month, this is her whole income for the month. So let you imagine how difficult it is. And what makes things even more worse, daring, is the fact that the little bit that they have, which is stored in their refrigerator, is going away because there is no electricity for the last 52 hours. Therefore, nothing can be cold. And all the products, the basic necessities that they have stored in the fridge for so long, things that can last, for 6 months to a year, that they can use as condiments or whatever that is being perished. So they have to consume it now. So, the wealth for a Cuban is to have some chicken. So often they have a freezer in the fridge in which they store some reserve of chicken, which they will use once a week to share with their friend for special meals. But at the moment, whatever they have in that storage is being perished. And so they have to consume it now. They cannot store it for later. And so basically everything that was in the fridge, and there's always extremely little. I mean, they have much smaller fridge than we have. But when you see a fridge which has 30% of it filled up, that's already someone who's doing pretty good in Cuba. But right now, everything is gone, because they cannot anymore store it. So this is, and the issue is that they will make less income at the end of the month because they are not able to work as much as they were before. Therefore, they are earning less. And everything they had of value that was stored is being perished. So when the normal life and electricity somehow gets back to normal with 16 hours of electricity per day, and they can get back to somehow a normal life, then won't be able to purchase again that very basic necessity they had stored in the fridge, because the price is so high. And imagine that you lose everything that you consider of value, which is nothing for us but so much for them, and then you are earning less. And then there is a major tornado coming, which is going to, fill all the land with loads and loads and loads of water, making productions of, fruits, vegetables, and basic necessities even lower, raising the price of all the commodities. It's going to be an impossible situation. And, what's interesting, and that's what I'm learning from this experience, is that, even though the situation, that's Cuba. It happens all the time. You can't do much about it. You just have to be patient. Now it's gone. So even though the situation is so critical, the people are not being stressed. They're still very patient, very zen, and what can I do about it? It's true, there's nothing else they can't really do about it. So the situation is daring, but you don't feel the fear or what's gonna happen. No, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. And they are still trying to make the best of it in the best way they can. So there's no electricity, you cannot stay inside the house because it's over 30 degrees, humidity is extremely high, so it's very hot inside. So they go outside, they sit on the porch, they talk to the neighbor, they talk to their friend, and they play the domino together, that's the national sports, or they play cards, or they play chess, or they just chat for hours, and then they meet each other, and they support each other in the best way they can. The way I'm able to make that film, because we cannot charge the telephone, for example. That's the rich guy who's got a big bike, because you don't find many like So, he helped me because he actually helping all the neighborhood. He has a car. So having a car is like just being a very wealthy man. Even though it's a Chevrolet from 1955 that his father had, and in not such a good shape. I mean, it's okay shape for 1955, but it's not one of those very prime, well-maintained. It's an okay car that he uses every day. So anyway, it has a battery in the car, and so he has a differentiator that we can use in order to charge the telephone. So all the neighborhood knows about that. So when he's home and his car is there, he allows us to hook up all the telephones so that we can charge the batteries, and then we can do that video and eventually communicate with each other. But know something, that obviously Wi-Fi is gone because there is no electricity. And we all know about 5G, but there's no 5G in Cuba. They pretend to have a 4G, but I mean, I haven't seen it working so well. I've seen the 3G working sometimes fairly well, but nothing incredible. You know, it's really upside down and it changes all the time. It also depends on where you are, what time of the day. I mean, stability over internet connection is extremely low. And then you also have to be capable of connecting to your system, because many of the systems that we use all the time are not working in Cuba. You know, Gmail or Google Map or YouTube or other things are not being authorized to be used here. So in order to access them, and I think that's happened from Google, because I always receive a message, Google is not available in this country, for example, and you wonder why is it that such company does not provide a service to the people of Cuba. I mean, there's so many nonsense here that you can talk about it and write an encyclopedia without any trouble. But so you have to use a VPN in order, but obviously the VPN slows down your connection, and you are already using 2G, 3G, so making it extremely hard, to upload, download anything or use any specific, system online. So obviously making communication extremely difficult. Even calling on WhatsApp, which used to be, pretty easy from anywhere with an average connection, I mean, it's impossible. Yesterday I was talking to my sister. Actually, I was talking, but she was hearing me, but I couldn't hear her. And, after a while we had to cut off because it was impossible. So all these things, are very challenging. And obviously many people say, well, I'm not interested in experiencing Cuba. And I can understand, because your comfort will be challenged and you'll have to step out of your comfort zone. But, the great things about it is that first, you're learning to live outside of your comfort zone. Therefore, you are growing, you are, becoming more whole. You are becoming capable of accepting what you couldn't accept before. And that's a great lesson of life, at least for me and probably for some others. But, on top of that, what I'm finding so genuinely valuable is the fact that you can meet the people and you can see how they live and how human they are all being. Because the contact that you can have with the local people is so caring, so kind, so supportive, so human, and the interaction, the exchange, and the openness about meeting strangers or meeting others at all times really makes Cuba a fantastic destination for those seeking to meet true people who are open. There is no fear. I mean, obviously they have little to lose, so what can they fear? But this is really a society which is really open. So this is Cuba today. No electricity, a major storm coming out named Oscar, and that's going to make everything worse, because we're going to have floods, and that's going to rise the price of everything. So make the situation even more daring. But regardless of that, there is no fear to have, because how is that going to help us make anything of it? You just have to accept and deal with it when it comes. So that's the lesson, is how to live with very little. That's the lesson that I'm learning in Cuba. I'm also learning that while spending my money here, I'm helping truly the people to make a better life, poverty is everywhere, and you will see people, asking you for little money, and you will give them 10 cents or whatever that is, and they are so touched by 10 cents, because for them this means a lot. So, sharing and caring and loving and being human and living simply are values that you will find here. And so if you're looking for something real, something so human, so simple, so important, you can find it here. Hope this video inspires you, and if it does, I will continue to do more in English. Just let me know in the commentaries your question, your comments, if you like this video in English, so that I can do some more in English. Please push the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friend, and hopefully I'll see you again on the channel next time. So I wish you all the best. Wish me well with what's coming up, and I hope you learned something, and look forward to seeing you again. All the best. Bye-bye.